Hey everybody, welcome to a new edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder, sitting here with two comics who you guys have got to know by now. It's two of New York's finest, comedian Fig and comedian known as Talent, out of both in New York City, New York's finest. Hey guys, I hope you all are doing well today. I know you guys woke up with the same kind of news I did this morning after we watched the NBA playoffs. That was crazy last night. We wake up this morning to find out something that's even beat out the NBA playoffs last night, and that was that Steve Nash was named head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Talent. Nobody saw that coming?
Nobody. I mean, he was on no radar, bro. No radar. And my thing is this. Only thing that's shocking me is we got about 4 or 5 potential coaches lined up waiting on the job. Some of them already proven, and a couple of newbies. You pick a fresh pick to be the head coach of one of the highly potential anticipated teams to be the top contender in the next season. I don't get it, bro. I thought Mark Jackson was next on the radar. I don't know how I feel about this.
Good point. Big Mark Jackson.
That's like standing on the line outside of Foot Locker waiting on the new Jordans, and then when they open up, they be like, "We sold out." What you mean you sold out? I've been on this line like all night.
Right.
I've been out here. I've been waiting. Like, how you gonna sell out already, man? That's ridiculous.
So, what's your thoughts on this, bro?
Yo, man, it's crazy, man. Like, I'm like, Steve Nash. I didn't even know that he was. I didn't know he wanted to coach. I didn't even know he was up for coaching. And when you talk about potential coaches in the NBA for any team. Whoever talked about Steve Nash? His name is never come. The first time I heard of Steve Nash being named somebody's coach or even in the running, but we didn't even hear that he was in the running. The only time we heard that he was in the running for coaches now that he already got the job.
Well, to be fair, let's be fair of the management of the Brooklyn Nets. They don't necessarily. It's not their job to tell us who they're looking for, right, Talent? But let's also say that you got Mark Jackson out there. You got Tyronn Lue. You got Joe Dumars. People have been saying that he, for some reason that he wants to coach now. I don't even know why his name is being thrown out there. You got a couple of Sam Cassell. You got everything out there. It seems obvious that KD and Kyrie signed off on that. Was that strange to hearing about that from you? To you?
Well, that means only thing I can say about that. That means this was a thing in the works that was kept under wraps that we didn't know about. Everybody's went for the pump fake, which was Popovich. That was the pump fake, and we've been going for that over a month now. And meanwhile, behind closed doors, outside the bubble, because that's probably like Fig got a point. Inside and outside the bubble are clearly two different worlds right now.
Right.
So outside the bubble, this was obviously a whisper or discussions already being had. For them to sign off on it, it was already being had.
Right. Fig.
Yo, man, it was a coach whisperer. That's what it is. It's the coach. It was crazy. It's like, Kyrie is one of the dudes. He was talking about like, man, we shouldn't even play this game. Black Lives Matter. We ought to be protesting and stuff like that. And then the Russian was like, what about Steve Nash? And he was like, yeah, that's good. Let's sign off on that. Like, dude, what's up with you, son? Like, what happened? You knew all these other dudes was up for coach, man.
Right.
Sign off on Steve Nash. He ain't never coached nothing, nowhere, ever.
Never coached nowhere.
Like, how you sign off on that? I'm not saying, now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Steve Nash gonna be a bad coach, but who knew?
But he's walking into a great position. Not too many coaches would turn down the opportunity to walk into, obviously, with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant on the team. And the Nets is already, a scrappy team. They already got everything out there together. So they already doing what they do. But let's stop talking about the coaching situation.
Wait, one more thing. One more point. It's the same thing Steve Kerr did.
Yeah,
if you're going to have good luck in the NBA as a coach, I think your first name needs to be Steve. That's what the problem is. We need a black coach named Steve if he's ever going to walk into a great situation and win. How about Steve? I changed my name. If I was a coach, if I wanted to be a coach in the NBA, I'd change my name to Steve.
let's jump in now to talk about what we were supposed to talk about. That was obviously the games last night, because the game 7 last night was amazing. And there was a huge, I think I want to call it an upset. You know what I mean? Like Miami was scrappy and, they shocked the NBA world last night. So let's jump first into the OKC game, because the Miami game, I think we can talk a little bit longer. But the OKC game, the final possession of the game, OKC, they have to tie the game. They have to have the ball. They don't even get a shot up. Talent, were you upset, disturbed? Were you looking cross-eyed? What was your thoughts when they didn't even get the ball in the play? The ball didn't even get a chance to get in the play because it was fumbled. And let's be honest. Let's say what happened. It looked like Russell Westbrook, being that he was a former member of OKC, he almost seemed like he knew where the play was coming, because he jumped in and blocked off the pass when it was coming in. I mean, I'm looking at the game and I'm saying, what in the hell? What's going on? And didn't that thought occur that, look at Russell Westbrook. He's out there. He's guarding the inbound pass. What's your thoughts, Talent?
Well, I don't know if it's that, but I will say this. One thing about him and James Harden are cut from the same cloth in the aspect of when their offense ain't doing what it's supposed to be doing, they will clamp down on some defense. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he looked like he was having this sporadic kind of game, and he was just a madman trying to be in the lanes, and his energy was bananas last night on some defensive stuff. Right. So he was watching everything that was going on. And to be honest with you, OKC was kind of telepathing a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. There was no trickery to it. The urgency to me wasn't there on either side when you thought it should be. Mm-hmm. So it was a weird thing. So if I'm looking at Russell run crazy and erratic all over the place, and I'm watching the way this play how is nonchalantly being drawn out, of course you're going to see him do his thing and intercept some stuff and jump in there like that. Right. I mean, that's just what I saw from Russell in last night's game. Right. I saw a Russell that wasn't clicking on all cylinders, mm-hmm. and made a conscious decision. Say, you know what? If nothing else, let me clamp down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me be the defensive Westbrook.
Right. All right. Now, with that being said, I don't know what's going on with Fig, but let me ask you the next question. When you saw how Houston wasn't playing top-notch defense like they should be playing, was your thoughts concerned of saying, you know what, these dudes are supposed to be playing the Lakers next round. If they playing like that, they're going to get swept. I mean, that was my thoughts. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, from a guy who played regulation ball, I do know that you play up and down to your competition. Right. So a lot of the times, I think their play was kind of mirroring and emulating OKC's play. Because if you look at it, when OKC had runs, they had runs. Right. When OKC was turning over, they started giving the ball back, turning over too. Right. And then when they clamped down on D, they clamped down on D. So it was a perfect example of when you hear people say you play up or down to your competition. Uh-huh. So with that being said, what you mentioned in the next round being the Lakers, obviously that competition level may go up. So I expect Houston's competition level to also go up.
Right. Okay. With that being said, too, let's now talk about the other game. The other game was Milwaukee, and Milwaukee faced off against the Miami Heat. Now, when I saw that game, I'm going to be honest with you and say that, it seemed early on that Miami wasn't going to be able to hold court with Milwaukee. But then Miami put it on. Like, they put the gears in, and they were able to basically do what they got to do. But Jimmy Butler is playing out of his mind. Let's be honest. He's playing out of his mind. But the last 20 seconds of the game, I'm not sure if you saw it or not. The last 20 seconds of the game, was that a foul or was that not a foul?
Which one? Right. It was back-to-back fouls.
Right. First one is Doris Burke said on the air, and she was absolutely right, in my opinion, that was not a foul when Chris Middleton jumped up and took a shot. Well, I forgot how many seconds left to go in the game. Doris did not.
But I'm gonna tell you why it was a foul. The same thing we could say about Iguodala. He had the same kind of thing. The only difference is Iguodala twisted his ankle on the foot of the defender. The new rule, the reason it's a foul is because of a technicality. The new rule is if you don't allow the space you can't step into my landing space. And when you look at the footing, when he's coming down, he is infringing on that landing space. So it becomes a foul. All the player got to do is finish selling it and fall down because it's like I had nowhere to land. If you look at the footing, technicality, yes. Same thing with the second foul. I don't agree with it because there was no pushing, no altering the shot, none of that stuff. However, did Giannis put his hand and touch the side of him? He did. Mm-hmm. So although it wasn't a foul per se, what we know is a foul, he touched him. And that's all you need to do for a ref to use his discretion to say yay and nay. And I think in both cases, they were both calls we probably wouldn't have called or like to see call and alter the game. But technically, they weren't wrong.
Okay, but well, let me just say for the record, I disagree with you. And the fact being, because I mean, from my TV, it looked like when Chris Middleton jumped up, he came right down. You're right about what you said about the space and everything else. From my TV, from the way I looked at it, looked like he jumped up. It looked like I've seen worse fouls, a lot worse fouls.
No. We agree on that. But see, watching it on a 13-inch is never going to look the same as what I'm seeing. If you need to borrow my TV or come to my house or whatever, you gotta see when you watch a TV on a small screen nowadays. You know how they got the smart TV? That's called the dumb TV. Anything under 35 inches is a dumb TV. That's what they call that nowadays. But I mean, here's the thing. Look at my hands. This is straight up and down. Right? You can't, no matter where I jump, if I'm the jump shooter and I go up, you can't be here. You can't. Right. This line is invisible, but none of your body can be in here. So as I'm coming down, whether you touch me or not becomes irrelevant if you infringe on that space. That's the rule. I'm with you. I don't agree it's a foul in the real grand scheme of things. But I know in a technical scheme of things, because that's a new rule. That's very new. I forgot what they call it, because somebody got hurt from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Somebody got hurt, and that's what invoked the new rule. That's what pushed them to passing this new rule. Technically, they can't be wrong, but I'm with you. Neither one to me was call worthy.
Okay, now being said, because they called that, it seemed like they had to call the last, even though the last call on Jimmy Butler was a foul. You can't not say that wasn't a foul. I think they would more so had to call the second foul. You know what I mean? With the pushing it back by Giannis and everything else. But what are your thoughts on that? The second foul versus
I don't think it was a foul. I think, again, the same thing I think about that.
Okay.
In the technical sense, just because his hand, because a push is different. Don't get me wrong. A push all day is a foul. He didn't push him. He was coming down, and he was the same rule of law that we was just talking about. Mm-hmm. He was trying to step to the side to not infringe on that landing space. And in doing that, this hand up like this, lightly touched the body. Right. It wasn't a push. It just lightly touched. That's all they needed, though. For their technical ruling, is for him to see that there's no air in there and it touched. Our foul is justified. Okay. I don't agree with it. I don't think the reason that's worse than the one before is because the game is ending on that.
Right, exactly.
That's what makes that call even worse than the Middleton. Right. Because the game is about to end with no seconds on the clock and somebody on the free throw line to win like that. I think that's horrible in any playoff basketball game.
Right. I do too. But so now, since Miami won the game, do you think it's possible that the series is now completely altered for Miami and Milwaukee? Do you think now that Miami can come and take them, or what's your thought process after you watch two games?
Oh, it's definitely altered. I think this went from, like me, I would have never seen this being a 6 or 7 game series, and I think it's exactly a 7 game series now.
Oh, you think so? Okay. So you think Milwaukee?
Exactly. I would have never called that from the beginning, but stealing 2, taking 2 from them. You got to realize these guys they got the best record in the league. Mm-hmm. And Miami comes in there and steal 2.
Right.
In the semi, final conference. Like, I think that everything's right now, obviously, for the next couple of games until you could tie it up or take a lead, it's an uphill battle for Milwaukee now. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to get through this uphill battle without taking it 6 to 7 games.
Right. That's very true. That's true. So now moving on to obviously the games that are happening tonight. It looks like the Celtics are now squaring off with New Jersey, and there's their series approach. Because certain teams look ahead when they, while they're playing one game and they're playing this series. Certain teams are also looking at the other play and other style of how the other series is going on. I don't think anybody in the NBA saw Miami coming out the way that they came out. They're coming out the blocks right now. You know what I mean? Does that alter the Celtics and what's going on between the Celtics series or they just keep playing your same game, keep doing what you're doing, worry about them when you get there, whether it's the Celtics or Toronto?
No. I think with the Celtics in Toronto, I don't think Toronto may not have the firepower to do what I'm explaining with the Milwaukee series. I think that when I look at Toronto, they're not as deep. They play a whole different game. They rely heavily on Lowry. And I don't think he's the guy you can rely on when you're driving uphill. I'd be very surprised if they win more than 1-2 games the most in this series to take it to the point where they flip it the other way and take over. Right. I really think they dug a hole that they can't get out of. When you look at how Boston's playing, and when you look at how Jimmy Butler and the Heat is playing, the difference is, like last night, that was a squeak out win.
It was.
Boston's definitively winning.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a big difference. The last 3-4 games we watched were 2-point games, win or lose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The two free throws from Jimmy Butler, the OKC, the game before that. That was 3 in a row, 2-point difference, all 3 games.
Right.
Boston is not winning like that. Boston is definitively putting it away.
Right.
So I don't see it, man. Like if it was a 1-point win, a 2-point win every time, I'd say, okay, it's anybody's game every game. But and the worst thing you can do when a team is playing good, now keep in mind, Boston's undefeated, the playoffs. So the worst thing you could do is feed their confidence and ego.
Right.
I think their ego full right now.
Right. That's very possible. Well, the reason why I asked that is because, as I'm watching the Houston series, and everything you said about Houston seems to be accurate, because it seemed like Houston was overlooking OKC. It seems like some NBA teams tend to look at the series because they automatically assume, we're going to be through. Let's look at the next series. And then they start not playing as well. And Houston almost lost that game last night. Horrible calls, go one way or the other. And I don't know what OKC did for the last call. But question for you is, do you think that because of obviously people playing ahead and things like that, do you think the Lakers are sitting there and they're not going to take Houston lightly, or they're going to come out there and just, handle business? How do you think the Lakers are sitting there right now looking at this whole series the way it unfolded with Houston and OKC?
I don't think they're going to sleep. You know why I don't think they're going to sleep? I don't think they're going to sleep for the simple fact that of the wake-up call they got from Portland. So I think coming into this one, I think that was the bong on the head, the wake up flag, like we can't go ahead sleeping no more. Right. Because the first game scared the hell out of them.
Right.
And I think just because that happened with Portland, they're coming in here with lights out. They're coming in, they're trying to show you what they got on this one. Because let's keep it real. This is right before the conference finals. So you only got this and one more to see who go to the chip.
Right.
And because of that scare, I look for LeBron and AD. And keep in mind, I haven't been a Laker fan, bro, since Magic. But in this series, something just tells me LeBron and them are coming out lights out to make an example. Now, that don't mean James Harden ain't gonna be like that. I would be scared of James Harden and Westbrook right now for at least the first couple of games, because the last couple of games we haven't seen them light up like they can.
I agree.
So I would look out for that. I'd be wary.
I agree. Well, while we wait for our guest to come in, we wait for him to come in. While we wait for him to come in, let's switch the call, obviously, to talk to the NFL. Yesterday when we got off, we were sitting there talking about Leonard Fournette, where he might go and which team he might land on. As soon as we got off the air, maybe an hour or two after we got off the air and everything else, word came out that Leonard Fournette landed on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, on paper, it looks like Tampa Bay is the team to beat without the entire NFC. Again, on paper, do you think with the addition of Leonard Fournette that Tampa Bay now is destined to make it to the Super Bowl or not? Because now they got Shane McCoy in the backfield. You got Tom Brady. You got Gronkowski as wide receiver, tight end. You've got some great young wide receivers there. Now they added Shady and they got Leonard Fournette in the backfield. It looks like, again, on paper, these guys look pretty good. What do you think? Is they're Super Bowl bound, or what do you think?
Well, they are stacked. So with them being stacked, you can't really put it past them. But see, football's a different beast. Football's a beast where you need a lot of mechanisms to work at the same time. It's not like basketball. One guy comes out, drops 50, 60, and take over. It's a I need all these cylinders to be clicking. We know what Tom is capable of. I don't know what that defense this season is going to be capable of, because they're going to come at it. They're going to come at these guys because of what you just said, because they're stacked, and we know that you're the guy to beat, and you got this, that, and this corner, and this lineman, and this receiver. They're going to come at them. So Tampa Bay, depending on the defense, can be a Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
If that defense holds up, hold up, because they're coming for them.
Right.
They Super Bowl bound. I don't even think they're relying on Brady. We know Brady's going to give them what Brady got. And we know the receivers are proven, and they added some pieces. So we kind of know what to expect there. I just don't know if they come back with a bona fide defense, to make a difference in the league. Because the league, this is going to be a defensive year, man.
Right.
The defensive teams, last year was an offensive year.
Right.
Keep it real.
Right.
This year, it's going to be a defensive year. Well, every time it's an offensive year, the following year is a defensive year.
Okay. With that being said, news broke out this morning too that Josh Gordon re-signed with the Seattle Seahawks. He's applying for reinstatement and everything else. I think Seattle Seahawks are doing everything they can do to get some wide receivers in there. Now that they locked him in, there are people who are also talking about saying they're trying to get Antonio Brown. If the Seattle Seahawks land Antonio Brown, does that make them a Super Bowl contender and knock out Tampa Bay, or do they still need more pieces? What's your thoughts?
I think that makes them a hell of a Super Bowl contender. I think you bring in Brown, but see, here's the thing with Brown. Isn't he sitting out half the season already?
Yeah, he's sitting out 8 games to start. Once you start,
and from what I understand, it's not done. It may be more.
No, it's supposed to be 8 games. It's supposed to be
no,
8 games.
But he has other charges he might be penalized against.
Might be, but
right now, going with what we know, he's not playing 8 games. Remember what I said one of the first shows? It would be lovely if we could pick the 8 games that you sit out.
Right.
that would be a beautiful world if we can come in. If I'm Seattle, I pick up Antonio Brown. I look at my schedule, go, okay, these are the 8 games you sit out, and these are the 8 we need you. That's not the case. You're going to sit out 8 of the first 8 games. Now your team's gelled, your team's moving the way it's moving, and you implement him mid-season. Frank, that's a toss-up.
Well, here's the problem, though, or here's the thing, I should say, not even a problem. When you play in football, because football is such an impactful sport, you'll be fresh coming in at the last 8 games. I think it could go in a positive direction for him because he's a wide receiver, bumping, running, going to the outside. Antonio Brown he's a outside on the lines receiver. You know what I mean? Like he's running he's up and out. You know what I mean? He's post out moves. That's what he's going. So if
you're looking at it like fresh legs.
That's exactly what it is to me. I mean, it could be like fresh legs coming in. He's doing his whole game is bumping on the line, and then he busts to the outside. And he runs post out straight down. I mean, he's not running routes. He's not crossing. He's just running one route that's straight. Go, just go.
That's very optimistic of you, my brother. Remember, I told you with missing preseason, right? Mm-hmm. There's a 3 games handicap. Let's say 3 to 4 games. Say you got 4 games preseason. I think it's 4. So half of those 8 games we're talking about, everybody else is coming up to speed.
Right.
You're not even firing. All your pistons are not firing on all cylinders because you didn't have a preseason. Right. So you're catching up in 4 games. So now 4 games in, your team is just starting to work like a mechanism, like a chain with no missing link. And then here you go, after 4 games of just getting it together, you throw in an impact player like Antonio Brown. I still think it's a toss-up because I understand what you're saying with the fresh legs coming in, but I still think that even with that scenario of fresh legs, I think that bringing them in, if I just got a rhythm, I got to kind of change that rhythm up to fit them in.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Fig, let's get you back up to speed. We're talking about NFL. We're talking about now Antonio Brown. If he makes it, if he comes in, it looks like word is that he's going to probably land on the Seattle Seahawks. Nothing definitive yet. Ooh. Exactly. But he has to. I asked Talent. I said he is going to get the 8-game suspension no matter where he goes. But if he lands on Seattle, because Seattle just officially this morning, they've released a statement saying Josh Gordon signed on with them. So Antonio Brown it would be look like somewhat like the Patriots had for that one game against Miami last year, where you had Josh Gordon doing cutting through the middle, and you had Antonio Brown running straight through. And you saw how they did with when he was those two were with the Patriots guys.
Right.
Now both of those guys are going to come in if they both come in together. They both are going to miss some games to start with Seattle, but you add them midway through the season, and Seattle's. Let's say Seattle is so. You add them, I think they could be a very impactful team, and that might catapult them to the Super Bowl. What's your thought?
Man, let me tell you something. Seattle is right there, man. Russell Wilson ain't no joke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody really talks about them like a lot. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of other teams that are more prominent. Everybody's always talking about Dallas and Aaron Rodgers and stuff like that. But Seattle's always been right there, man. Since the Legion of Boom and stuff like that. They seem like they go under the radar, but you add like a couple of decent receivers. You add a receiver like Antonio Brown, it takes him over the top, because I don't care what nobody say. Russell Wilson is one of those dudes, man. Like, he balls out every year. You know what I mean? They just don't get the press, as far as I'm concerned. So I think they are definitely a contender, man, because they was pretty much like right there last year. You know what I mean? And you add somebody like Antonio Brown, and then Russell Wilson is a mobile quarterback. He can throw and he's mobile. So now you can't watch everybody.
Right. That's true.
You know what I mean? So I think they right there as a contender. I think
why you can't watch everybody?
You said what?
Why you can't watch everybody? You got 11, I got 11. Who the hell says that about football? You can't watch everybody. Yes, sure I can. You got 11, I got 11. You watch him, you watch him, I got him.
Listen, let me ask you a question. Tell me the defensive back that wants to guard Antonio Brown one-on-one without any help.
That's a whole nother question. I didn't say you wanted to. I'm just saying you said you can't watch everybody. If you got 11, I got 11.
Yo, you're gonna need somebody to spy on Russell Wilson, because
true.
If he get away, you ain't catching him. That boy. Woof.
Well, see, I don't take anything away from Russell. I'm not a true believer in Seattle. Seattle's I wouldn't call it a bum team, but I wouldn't call it, top elite team either. You know what I mean? They play fair. But one thing I do know about a Seattle game, no matter who they play, it's anybody's game.
Right. With that being said, too, the Philadelphia Eagles are supposed to be making a bounce back this year, too, because everybody's looking at Carson Wentz saying, you know what, he was hurt on and off a lot last year and everything else. But, everybody's overlooking Carson Wentz and the Eagles, too, because supposedly their defense is still intact. I don't think anybody opted out from the Eagles. I think they're one of the only few teams that no one opted out. What do you think about the Eagles coming up this year, Talent? You think that they're going to at least make the playoffs, and we should be talking about the Eagles in playoff contention, or not?
I think they'll make the playoffs. Wentz, let me tell you something. The guy's injury prone. Wentz is the Grant Hill of football. So that guy, as good as the potential he showed when he came in, he can't keep a thumb in place. You know what I'm saying? And Philly, I don't know what's going on in front office to coaching, but when Wentz went down, the year they got the Super Bowl, when he went down and Foles took him through the playoffs and got the Super Bowl, I mean, that team played for Foles. And then what did they do? They went right back to Wentz. And what did he do? He pulled another thumb.
He got hurt again. He definitely got hurt.
So I give you, because they got some players on both sides of the ball. I'll give you making the playoffs, but I don't give you, if Wentz is your guy, I don't care what team you got. If Wentz is your guy, I don't see how far you're going with that.
Okay. Fig, almost the same question, except the difference is Wentz probably needs, the Philadelphia Eagles probably need a better offensive line. Their offensive line is horrible. So I want to say that, if they get let's assume they get a better offensive line. Let's assume that they get what they need. Basically, same question, but let's assume they get what they need. Do you think they're playoff bound and can make a run to the Super Bowl, or it doesn't matter?
I think with the condition of the New York Giants and the condition of the Washington football team, it's between Philly and Dallas to win the division. once you win the division, you pretty much right there because you play each other twice. You know what I mean? If you win the division, you like right there to be able to make it into the playoffs. But you got to. Wentz was the type of quarterback. He put the ball right in your hand. He put the ball right in the receiver's hands where they could catch it. But then he started getting injured, and he's taking on the persona of his name, Wentz. Mm-hmm. Like as soon as somebody get ready to tackle him, he winces. He's like, wait a minute. I think Wentz is the Joel Embiid of football.
All right. Well, with that note, it's that time of the show. I guess. I guess. But it's that time of the show. We bring in Rodney Perry to come in. And
gotta get my products. Gotta put my products in my head. All right. I'm all over the place. Y'all covered a lot today. First of all, let's shout out to Mr. Fig's Wi-Fi. He was on the Teddy Riley Wi-Fi package. All right, let's get right into the show. Steve Nash coached the Nets. Let me tell you something about being white in America. You ain't got to be on the list. Okay? That's just part of being white. You ain't got to be on no list. You can just show up. Steve Nash was just walking around New York. You know what? Why don't we hire Steve Nash? He's white. Put him on the list.
Yeah, word up.
He white. That's why he on the list. Mark Jackson. All these black people. No, white. Sorry, let me put on my old black man hat. Anyway, all right. Let's talk basketball. I think y'all covered it great in terms of the Miami-Milwaukee series. You never want to see a series decided by the referee. Matter of fact, let me shout this brother out. The MVP of the bubble is Mark Davis, which is the name of the referee. All the two terrible calls. Mark Davis is the only reason that you go with Black Lives Matter. Okay.
Was it the same guy on both calls, Rodney?
Black calls matter. No. Now you got to notice you do have to let a person come down, and the first call was a good call because he leaned into him.
Yeah.
So, right. And hold up, I gotta take a drink on this. Let me tell you something. Kakupo, Milwaukee, that big dude. You can't touch nobody. When you that big, you can't, he like incredible. You can't touch Fig. You can't touch nobody when you that big.
You can't.
Oh, yes,
not at all.
Touch. He almost pushed that man out the bubble. I love the talent breakdown. The fact that he played organized ball. So I thought about my basketball career. I'm saying this from a perspective of a guy that failed to get picked in rec center ball. Basketball was great last night. Houston OKC. Okay. First of all, OKC is super scrappy.
Yeah.
Super scrappy. You're not gonna have many days where James Harden played that bad. I'm gonna say the problem with James Harden is his little twisties was too tight. His little braids was too tight, man. And ever since he got them little twisties, he ain't been able to make a shot. I mean, you gotta look at the little stuff. You gotta look at the little stuff. James Harden, his beard is loose and his hair is tight. It just so his face is being pulled in two directions. I be thinking outside the box. So
you are, yeah, you're right.
Milwaukee, Miami series. I got Milwaukee in 5.
Really?
Now, Milwaukee in 5. Miami is overachieving. They cannot maintain this pace. Write it down, Frank. I see you doubt. Matter of fact, let me put my Frank Holder glasses on. Let me tell you something. You think you don't want to see, Frank? You know, matter of fact, here's the thing, Frank. Right there. Frank. Hold on. Frank, let me tell you something, Frank. What you're not gonna do is see better than me.
What you not gonna do?
I got Milwaukee in 5. I say the Bulls come back with a vengeance. They will not continue to get tore up by these dudes. And y'all talk about Houston against the Lakers. The Lakers gonna tear their ass out of frame. First of all, James Harden, Westbrook crazy. Let's all just call a spade a spade. You can't play basketball with 2 guys. Harden tried to do it by himself last year. He wouldn't get a ball to the little dude that's out. Okay,
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, thank you, Fig. He wouldn't get a ball to Chris Paul, and he don't want to give it to James Harden, but he knows James crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, Westbrook, I just don't see no chemistry on the team to go beyond this round, and they barely beat OKC.
Barely.
Barely. All right. Yeah. All right, let's go. Brady, the Bucks getting Fournette. Leonard Fournette is cold. In the words of my brother Fig, he a dog. He'll bite your ass. Brady and them got every available good player in the world. And guess what? They still gonna lose. Write it down. They still gonna lose. I don't care if they Miami South. I mean they New England South. So what? They still gonna get their ass tore up. Look at the other teams. You got Seattle, you got Baltimore, you got the Rams, did anybody remember Kansas City?
Yeah.
Let me tell you how I gauge my football teams, how they play on Madden. Okay? Ain't nobody running to pick up the damn Bucks. They running with OKC. With Kansas City. And let's not forget the 49ers.
Right.
Y'all talk about the damn Eagles. Let me tell you something. First of all, I hate when people even bring up the damn Eagles. Let me tell you something about the damn Eagles. Carson Wentz is the worst quarterback of all time. What you call him, Wentz? Wentz, Fig, you got it right. You ain't never said nothing right, Fig, until you said that. Wentz. Every time he stepped on the field, he went, ooh. You know what? You know how the Eagles can get better? If they the only way Eagles can be better if they put Meek Mills at quarterback and 2 red wide receivers.
Meek Mills at quarterback?
Yeah, put Meek in.
And Touré?
Touré got to move. Touré is nice. I got some honorable mentions before I get out of here. The young man for OKC that looked like Aquaman. He really gave OKC a shot. Aquaman almost gave him a shot.
Adams.
Yeah, big Adams. Shouts out to Dennis Schroeder, who played his little heart out, man.
Yeah, he did.
And you know what? As a dark-skinned brother, it made me feel good to watch somebody 7-8 shades darker than me play.
He's one of my favorites.
He might be the dark-skinned dude of all time. But I ain't gonna say a whole lot about him because we share the same birthday. Shouts out to Lou Dort.
Yes.
Shout out to Lou Dort. They said we ain't gonna even hold you, Lou Dort. Lou Dort said, "Okay, what?" he didn't even use the shooting. His Lou Dort.
Look at this ball.
You know Lou Dort, the ball on you, and he used to go ahead. Oh, that went in.
That's true, yo.
Yeah. I think that's all I got. Westbrook, crazy. Milwaukee in 5. Jalen Rose said it best. That first foul caused that second foul because they almost had to make a makeup call. Shouts out to my brother Talent. He used a word during the telecast today, telepathing. We gonna look that up.
What was it?
Telepathing. You said you was telepathing something.
Yeah, like how you telepath. Like telepathing. That's like projecting something.
Telegraphing.
No, that's a telegraph. That's a phone call. Silly. That's before the damn phone.
When you a quarterback and you throw the pass, you look at the receiver, you telegraph who you gonna throw it to. That's telegraph. Trust me.
Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. Hold on a second.
Now you got everybody on here looking, Googling.
I'm already on it. Telepathy, yeah. Telepathic is from the root word telepathic, brother. Now, do I need to read this to you? There we go.
Go ahead.
You ready?
Go ahead.
Meaning distant, right?
Hold on.
Telepathy meaning the feeling, the perception, and the passion, affliction is the purported vicarious transmission of information from one person to another without using a known human sensory channels or physical interaction. Telepathy, brother. Telepathy.
I rebuke
you in those glasses.
I see what you're saying.
Can you see it?
I see it. Now that you broke it down like that, I see what you're saying. Hey, it was a great sports night. Some great basketball, football, the whole night. Antonio Brown going maybe to Seattle. That what you said, Frank?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
First of all, any team Antonio Brown go to get better.
Yeah.
Okay. Antonio Brown could go to the motherfucking Antonio Brown could go to the Houston Rockets and they'll be better. Let me tell you something. But you just don't know which Antonio gonna show up.
Right.
So he could actually destroy your team. But if you get Russell Westbrook, I'm talking about Sierra boyfriend throwing the ball. Look, Patrick Mahomes got a bazooka for an arm. Okay.
True.
Russell Westbrook throws the best ball in football. Write it down. Only one that's better than him is my man up in Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. And his arm is old. Russell Westbrook got a young arm and he's still viable. If Russell Westbrook get Antonio Brown, it's like
First of all, if Russell Westbrook come to the NFL, I'm out of here.
We need him. We need Russell. I'm sorry, my glasses coming off. I couldn't focus. But you know what I'm talking about, goddamn. Anyway, hey, the name of this segment is I Disagree. My name is Rodney Perry. You can find me on all social media under Rodney Perry Live. I got mad love and respect. Hold on. Stay right there. Trying to find my old black man hat. I got my show sponsored by Jack Honey. And, this one has nothing to do with sports. Y'all familiar with John Gray? He built like a football player. He's a pastor dude. Look it up. I'm gonna get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rodney Perry. He looked like if your pastor played every position in basketball. You know what I mean? If your pastor, yeah. You know what I mean? Everybody know about telepathy. I don't know how you got lost. When I say telepathic, from the root word from telepathy. You know what I mean? That's without touching it. That's just willing it. You know what I mean? Person to person, mind over matter. Everybody know that.
I'll leave you with this. That dude is a funny brother. Like that.
Rodney is crazy. Hey man,
as a mug.
I didn't get a chance to say nothing about them foul calls, but let me tell you this: referee knows better. You do not. The game was tied.
Yeah.
Nobody was gonna win that game if the ref just didn't make that call. They'd just had to go to overtime. When you got a situation like that, as a veteran referee, you do not make that call. You let the players decide win or loss, the game is never decided, and they never supposed to decide a basketball game on the call of a referee.
Nope.
Never, ever.
That's true.
In the history,
but that's
in
true.
the history of
Hold on. But I asked Talent when you was trying to get back on, was that even a foul? That wasn't even a foul to me. So, you're not.
I mean, it was close. He was in the air. I mean, he did touch him, but it wasn't another word. It wasn't egregious enough for the referee to blow the whistle. It was maybe 50-50 chance.
But Craig, you saying the same thing I'm saying. In a technical sense, you know what I mean?
In a technical sense, it was. But
it's like you got to have the rent on the first, but you get it on the second. I gave you the rent, man. Don't kick me.
Let me tell you this. I'll tell you how egregious it was. You may not make that call during the first quarter, let alone the last few seconds of the fourth quarter. You let that. That's the one that you got to let go, and you let the teams toss it up, do another 5 minutes, and decide who wins the game on the floor.
Okay. Hey, Stack, I got to take you out. My man, Mr. Kenny Anderson, they're getting ready to join us. We'll be right back with you, Stack. Don't go nowhere, okay?
Right.
All right. Being that we're talking about the NBA, we're talking about the calls, we're talking about the playoffs last night. Let's bring in the NBA himself, one of my favorite players, 15 years in the NBA, and the Nets, Celtics, the Hornets, Trailblazers, Mr. Kenny Anderson. Thanks for joining the show, bro. We appreciate you.
Yo, what's up, man? What's up, everybody?
What's up, Jay?
Ain't nothing, man. Just chilling, baby. Just chilling.
Hey, you look like you on your way to meet up with the OKC Thunder, man. They going fishing. You gonna meet them?
Hey, I don't know, but this is my favorite hat, man. This is my favorite hat.
That's a good hat.
It looks
I'm on a roll.
smooth, though.
I'm on a roll right now with my wife and my daughter and my granddaughter. But everything is cool, man.
Okay. Well,
everything is cool.
Well, let's just jump into it because we don't hold you up. I know time is tight for you. Last night, you saw the game and everything else. Now, I asked yesterday a question of best coaching. Now I'm going to ask you, who is doing the best coaching in the bubble right now after you've seen all the games to this point right now? Because now you've been on a lot of teams.
I'm a Boston fan. I'm a Boston fan. So the coach from the Celtics, and I watch a lot of sets and things he do because to get that in my game. Also, he's doing a great job. Mm-hmm. He's doing Boston. That's the team. That's my team, and I want them to win it this year.
Okay, all right.
Wow.
You heard that right? You New Yorkers, you heard that right? He was.
Yeah, everybody heard that, Frank. Everybody heard that. Frank. Damn, man.
Hey, I'm from New York. Hey, I'm from New York, but I hate the Knicks. Yeah, I'm glad they do it bad. Yeah.
The Knicks ain't even in the bubble.
All right, so since time is tight, I want to ask you real fast. Time is tight for us. You look at who's coming out of the East. You have an idea who's coming out of the West. Who do you think is coming out of the East? And who do you think is coming out of the West? Who's taking the entire NBA championship?
Boston will play the Clippers in the West, and Boston will win. That's what I'm going with. Okay. I'm going with Boston because the teams I don't like. I don't like the Lakers. I don't like the Lakers.
Okay.
And I'm going with Boston. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
They look good.
Yeah, they look good. But just to show the type of time, tell everybody out there what you're involved in, what you got going on, and things like that.
I'm coaching down at Fish, the NAI school, and I couldn't. This HBCU, and I love it. I love it, and we're going to get better as the years progress. But my first 2 years was just a learning experience for me. And this year we got a very good team, and I was looking forward to it. But with the coronavirus, I just really don't know. We're supposed to start in January. But I'm so happy, I'm coaching now, giving back to my youth. It just feels great for me. It just feels great.
Right. Wow.
Kenny, do me a favor, Kenny. Plug your documentary movie, man. Last I saw you, we was at John Stark's Foundation. Yeah. And you was working on it. I understand it's finishing out, right?
Yes, my documentary was awesome. About 4 years is finished. Mr. Chibbs. Those that know me in New York, that's my nickname, Chibbs. My mother gave me that name when I was born. It's been great. Jill Campbell was the director, and it's on not Netflix but Amazon. It's on Amazon.
Amazon. Okay.
Amazon.
It's out now.
Yes, Mr. Chibbs. Go check it out, man.
Okay.
Basketball is easy. Life is hard. That's my whole slogan. Basketball has been easy my whole life, but life has been difficult and hard. And now it's coming together. I got my life coming together.
Well, you're
still one of the best that ever did it, bro. Know that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We gotta
Thanks,
have you
man.
back. We gotta have you
That's
back.
that New York blood in you, though.
New York blood, baby.
We gotta have you
You
back.
already know New York, Left Rack City, Queens, baby. That's what's up.
Sir.
That's what's up.
Tell everybody out there how they can follow you. We gotta get you to come back.
Oh, you can follow me, Kenny Anderson, 7357. That's my Instagram, and my Twitter is Chibs_1.
We can tell you.
Chibs_1.
We can tell you don't do it. We can tell you not doing your social media. So,
Huh?
we can tell you not doing your social media.
Nah, you done. It's tough, man. It's tough.
We appreciate you taking out the time. We're gonna have you back real soon because we want to ask you about the NBA playoffs more in depth.
Yeah.
We want to ask you about the coaching. We want to ask you a couple more questions every time.
Yeah, thank you. But yo, just bet Boston gonna win it this year. I know y'all hating, y'all New Yorkers.
Not
We
me.
hate.
No,
But
he's
Boston
from
gonna win it.
Boston.
It's all good though.
Kenny, Frank is from Boston.
Not me. That's right. I'm with you. But thanks, Kenny. We appreciate you, dog.
All right, my bad.
Respect, baby, respect.
All right, y'all. That was Kenny Anderson. 15.
I bet you feel good, don't you, Frank?
Oh man, I'm floating on cloud 9 right now.
Man, and let me tell you something, Frank. Boston look. I'm serious, man. Boston look really good, man. They are beating up on Toronto. They look good, man. And
They're gonna surprise some people.
They just shocked me, man. And the way that Milwaukee is playing, man, I'm like, man, if Milwaukee don't get it together, man, I'm gonna pick Boston because I don't see Miami beating Boston.
No, they don't match up well against Boston, but they match up. They match up perfectly against Miami. Match up perfectly against Milwaukee. They don't match up perfectly against the Celtics. But my man Stack's in the building. Stack, how we mess up? Where we mess up at? Or did we get everything good?
You know what, y'all actually did really good today, man. Y'all was on point today. You know, we had Talent over here. Talent was the he had everybody's diction together and stuff like that, man. Going on to Google, Fig was on it. You know who messed up? Rodney. Rodney had Russell Westbrook in the NFL. Other than that, y'all was on point today.
Rodney also said Milwaukee in 5. I'm like, bro, they already played.
That was hilarious.
That shit was eating Frank up. Frank was like, I was like, let it go, bro.
I didn't think that because he kept going to all them glasses. I was too busy laughing, Taylor. I was too busy laughing.
Did you see him? He's like,
hold it. You hold it. He was like, but how you can't? But you can't. Nah, just let it ride. Let it ride. No, and then also Seattle, right? They're doing the same thing the Patriots tried last year with the whole Josh Gordon, Antonio Brown situation. I don't see that working out, honestly. Josh Gordon is not even reinstated yet. You don't even know if you're gonna get reinstated. And then they got really good weed out there in Seattle. So,
yeah, it's dangerous for him.
They got the hydroponics.
Wow.
No, it's true. He is a what do you call it when you do a lot of drugs? He is a I forgot the name of the word. But
addict? I don't know.
Addict. He's an addict.
Yeah.
But hold on. How Seattle gonna have a lot of weed? They got the best weed and the best coffee. That's weird.
Yeah, that is very weird.
They got the best uppers and the best downs.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what the funny thing about it is, Talent? In Amsterdam, the weed houses are called coffee shops.
Yeah, coffee shops. Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, Stack.
Crazy.
Go ahead, Stack.
Tampa Bay. Actually, guys, I mean, Brady got weapons, and Fournette is definitely legit. Their defense ain't half bad. Their front seven is good. They got Ndamukong Suh, and they got some dude named Vito. I can't remember his name. Their front seven's on point. The only issue with them has been their secondary.
Right.
They gave up the most yards in the air last season, but they did draft. I don't know if y'all remember Antoine Winfield.
Right.
They drafted his son out of Minnesota. He's a rookie. So maybe he's gonna play safety for them.
But Stack, this is how you beat Tampa Bay. All you got to do is throw the ball. Don't run the ball because the front seven is gonna be tight. You keep throwing the ball. 5 yards, you're gonna beat Tampa Bay.
You gotta get rid of it fast. You gotta get rid of it real fast. So linebacker play is gonna be crucial for them.
So Frank, hold on. You already turned on Tom Brady?
No, I ain't turning on him. I want him to come out of NFC. I want him to make it to the Super Bowl. I want a Patriots and Tampa Bay Super Bowl. That's what I want.
The Super Bowl is going to be in Tampa Bay this year.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want it to be like that.
I would love to see that. And then,
I would too.
What y'all say? I don't know why y'all talking about the Eagles.
Because the Eagles have made some moves over the last couple of days, and I like to pick out the teams that everybody's overlooking. People are overlooking the Eagles. People are overlooking the Colts. People are overlooking the Cowboys and the Giants. Nobody's talking about the Giants. The Giants got Jeff Judge from the Patriots, great coaching from the Patriots. He's gonna turn that whole program around. Nobody's even looking at the Giants. Those are the kind of teams I like to talk about and look at that nobody's talking about.
You know what? You know what's kind of funny about Tampa Bay is that they picking up all the stars, all the guys that had a reputation before. They got Jim Brown, they got Paul Warfield, you know what I mean? They got OJ is coming out of retirement. I'm like, Tampa Bay is picking up. They picking up Ed. They got Ed Too Tall Jones playing the defensive line.
Hey, Stack, you done with your report? Stack,
no, I'm not even done, dog. I want to let y'all know that the Lakers will be. Y'all right about the Lakers. They're going to trash Houston. Okay, and talking about that OKC game. The refs was wrong, but we knew it. Y'all called that yesterday. Didn't y'all say that yesterday, though? The NBA want to see OKC in the next round.
I said that it was going to be a ref series.
Yeah, kudos to Talent and Fig for saying that.
Yeah, Miami's definitely going to be a problem for Boston. That's going to be a nice Eastern Conference Finals.
If it happens.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't think Milwaukee, they don't have no grit. The Celtics have grit.
Yeah.
Milwaukee don't have no grit once they lost Brogdon. They have nobody. Everybody, yeah, I'm saying so that's done. It's gonna be Miami versus Boston. I think Boston's going to the finals. Like Kenny said, we're gonna win. It's interesting. All the basketball minds y'all bring on here all pick Boston. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though these two be clowning them all the time, but whatever, man. Steve Nash getting hired, blew my mind. I know he has a personal relationship with KD going back to Golden State days, but Stephen A. Smith was calling it straight up white privilege, bro, you ain't even been a head coach. Now you about to inherit a playoff team that's adding Kyrie and Durant. This is probably gonna be the number 1 seed in the East next season. They
just like Steve
Nash.
Oh God, huh?
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr with the Golden State Warriors. Now,
Kerr was assistant coach in San Antonio winning rings. Steve Nash was just a player development guy for 2 years in Golden State. And then
he has no coaching experience, none.
But here's the thing. Next year, finals, I'm going to call it right here. I'm going to be the Nostradamus. I'm taking a page out of Talent's book. It's going to be the Brooklyn Nets against the Golden State Warriors. It's going to be the battle of the Steves.
Okay, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna go on record right now, right? And I'm gonna say that ain't gonna happen because the Brooklyn Nets are gonna implode because Kyrie's gonna do something to the team and make the team implode. That's what I'm gonna call right here, right now.
You hate Kyrie because he left Boston.
No,
they don't have no steady.
Kyrie didn't leave Boston. They shipped him out. They're like, look how good the team is doing now since he left.
Look at how they did when he got hurt. And just rookie year, we went to Game 7 against LeBron in the playoffs.
What position you play, Stack?
I play point guard for the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? I play color commentary.
That's our time. Talent, how can they find you? Talent, how can they find you?
You know how to find me, baby. Talent, the comedian. IG. It's just comedy. Twitter. King Talent Harris. Facebook. Say no more. Say less.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say don't worry about it. Faye, how can they follow you?
You can follow me on all social media platforms at Comedian Fig, provided that my Wi-Fi still works.
Yeah, what happened to your Wi-Fi? Dang,
I don't know, man.
We'll talk about that out there.
I'm in the bubble.
Yeah, I bet. Stack.
All right, y'all can catch me at Stackinova. That's Facebook.com/Stackinova, Twitter.com/Stackinova, Instagram.com/Stackinova. That's where I'm at.
We appreciate that. Tomorrow,
man, we appreciate you broadcasting from your closet, Stack.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah. Who we got tomorrow?
Tomorrow we coming through with the heat, baby. You already know. New York Knicks in full effect again. or Charlotte Hornet if you was a Charlotte fan. That too. Johnny Newman in the building tomorrow,
Johnny
baby.
Newman.
We're looking forward to that. Make sure you follow us. It's the Humor Mill app. It's the Humor Mill channel. We come on every day, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We thank you all for checking us out. That's Talent. That's Fig. That's Stack. I'm Frank. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.